he said, puffing out his chest importantly. I wouldn't be so sure about that, she told him. Well, they're not going to offer it to you. Everyone knows girls get married and have babies. Haven't you heard the world's changing, Arnold Bragg? She retorted. And in case you hadn't noticed, some of the artists here are female. Refusing to let him get under her skin, she hefted the canvas higher and continued on her way. Despite what Arnie said, she intended getting that position. Already the artists were asking for her as they knew she would do a thorough job. Her father had impressed upon her that a task, however menial, was worth doing properly or not at all, and she took great pride in her work. Arnie, by contrast, was slapdash, hurrying through his tasks so he could sneak outside for a smoke, for this was not allowed on the premises. He also had a mean streak, and there was nothing he'd have liked better than for Daisy's canvas to have been ruined. Daisy wrestled her way into the artist's airy studio, breathing in the heady smell of paint. It was her favourite room, with a bench running the entire length, its wide shelves covered in huge jars of pigments, bottles containing liquids in every hue, and bristle brushes of varying sizes. Dodging the scenery that had been left to dry, she propped the primed canvas against the wall, ready for the design detail to be added. Goodness, Daisy, surely you didn't manage that all by yourself? Scarlett asked, frowning as she looked up from her easel. Daisy nodded, not willing to admit her arms felt as if they'd been wrenched from their sockets. You are a dear helping out like this. Scarlett delved into the front of her bright red smock, drawing out a sheet of paper and a stub of pencil. I know how you love to draw, so have these for your trouble. Bet that pretty little head of yours was busy designing its own set while you were splashing on the primer. Blue, her fellow artist, teased. I'll have you know I took great care to prime your canvas properly, Daisy retorted. Although you know me only too well, she ruefully admitted, pocketing the proffered gifts, which they'd assured her were perks of the job. Well, come on then, spill the beans. What did you dream up? Scarlett asked, green eyes studying her curiously. It was a night sky, with twinkling stars and... She stuttered to a halt as the two artists exchanged amused glances. The reality won't be half as romantic, I'm afraid, Blue sighed. We have to create another stage upon a stage for a performance up country. Daisy watched as he distractedly wiped his hands on his own brightly coloured smock, and wished she had something brighter than her white pinafore to wear. We've another canvas needs priming, but you can do it in here if you'd like, Scarlett told her. Daisy, where the hell are you? I'll not tell you again. Stan's roar reverberated around the high-ceilinged room. As he appeared at the open door, arms folded across his ample belly, they shot her a sympathetic look. Dodging past him, she dived into the props room and snatched up the pies required for the slapstick comedy. Today, girl, he growled. Daisy narrowed her eyes, tempted to lob one at his pate with its combed-over wisps of greying hair. Obviously she wasn't called a runner for nothing, she thought, racing down the corridor as fast as she could manage. It was satisfying helping the sets for the productions come together, but the mundane tasks were repetitive, and she itched to be creative. Still, she'd have to bide her time. With her parents needing her wage, Daisy hadn't had the luxury of receiving any formal training, unlike Harry, her follower, who was studying at the Camberwell College of Arts and Crafts. Although that institute was council-funded, as her father had told her, if you're learning, you ain't earning. Still, Daisy couldn't grumble, for her schoolteacher, recognising her talent, had suggested she apply for a job here, telling her father that she would then be earning while learning. Despite wanting her to work alongside him at the ginger beer factory, he'd finally given in, admitting he wanted her to be happy. She loved her job, but, after paying her mother for her keep, she could hardly afford a pencil, let alone a sketch pad, which was why she was so grateful for the odd bits and pieces.